This is an important moment where I'm streaming Rust again. I've kinda like went off of it because of being like busy with random stuff, but I'm coming back and streaming Rust again. So remember how I decided to learn it the first way? Like first I read the entire book and then I reread it again with the brown version. Hello, hello. Reread it with the brown version while also doing the exercises. Basically, I didn't have enough patience for that to read the entire book and then only start using the language. I do not have a language to fucking program in. I'm already past AHK. I don't really want to make anything new in that. I don't really want to use C# because, like, well, if I can use C#, I might as well wait until I can use the better language, Rust, right? So here I am, fucking stuck programming in fucking fish shell, which is pretty crazy. So I decided to start the second stage of learning Rust more quickly, so I can actually start programming in Rust. Maybe something like easier or smaller, but already start using the actual language rather than continuing programming in fish. Fish is good, like, don't get me wrong, it's just not the full-fledged programming language that I'm almost using it as, you know? I mean, true, like, it's a programming language, but let me show you. Or actually, a programming language where you use and as a keyword, in my eyes, isn't really a programming language. It's just kind of weird. And I might think of the wrong thing, but I think Go uses actual keywords. Well, I know for a fact that Ruby does, but I feel like Go does too, which would be very weird for like a big language, I guess. Okay, so let's continue on from where I ended. And we're going to be going a bit quicker than I did my first read because I already know what it's talking about more or less. So here we have this code, which I am going to open in VS Code. And here it is. Boom. So it's already loaded in. First, we add the line. Oh, and by the way, the brown version of the book now has this thing where I can make my own notes, and they like stay throughout sessions, which is interesting, but kind of annoying seeing that I like to select when I'm reading. I think it like helps me read, I guess. First, we add the line this, the range trait, random numbers implement, and we bring in its scope naturally. So we get a thread function that gives us that number generator. Then we use the genRange method of that type that we got returned by that function. And it's defined by the RNG trait that we brought into scope earlier. GenRange takes a range expression, and I love that. I didn't really consider it the first time. So this is a range expression, meaning you can make ranges out of, I imagine, anything, and you just pass the type of range, which is very useful, rather than being scoped to like having two parameters, the start and the end. No, you just specify a range expression. I love that. A lot of languages do something like this. Shut the fuck up, Edge. You won't just know which traits to use. Yeah, so there's documentation. Let's run cargo doc open. Cargo doc open. What? It should be CADO, but I guess it isn't. Let's check what it actually is. Cargo doc. Oh, I straight up don't have something for it. That's surprising. Cargo doc open. Here we go. Let's reload and Cato. And it should... Oh, I guess it compiles everything first and like actually makes the documentation. And I imagine it stores it locally. So the next time I open it, it doesn't have to redo it. I can only imagine that's the case. So Rust gives you a way to just generate documentation for your project with a simple command like this, which is just so crazy. I haven't heard any other language do this like straight up, automatically, by default. However, it is taking quite a lot of time. Well, me streaming takes some processing power, I guess, but even then, it's a bit too slow. Okay, well, I think it will open automatically once it loads up. And open it in your browser, yeah. This is like very useful. You just can install some dependency, then build the documentation for it, read it, understand it, use it, like mwah. The second new line prints the secret number. So this thing that we now have, we generate a secret number, printed for testing purposes, because it's not the full program. Then you get to type in your guess. And yeah, it says it. Like, we do it to test it. And yeah, well, I guess once it loads up, it's taking a crazy amount of time. And it's like stuck on here. Do I even like have it? Yeah, I do have internet. That's pretty strange. Comparing the guess to the secret number. Now that we have user input and a random number, we can compare them. So we later learn match statements and a bit better how they work. The idea of matching, so this is the value that we want to compare to other values. And basically, match statements aren't as restrictive as switch statements are, usually in other programming languages. Oh, here we go. Seriously? What? But can you like... Oh, so it's in target. Hold up, let me reopen this entire thing. First of all, Rust learning. Here, yeah, no, guessing game, back off, and then KS again, so we can separate and do CD dash. So the doc is just straight up in target, which is pretty crazy. And in that, or rather help.html is just there. Can I like help? Yeah, this. Fair enough. What if I browser huh. How the fuck do I do this then? How the fuck do I do that? Okay, let's try opening it normally again. Like, sure, it opens a tab, but with nothing in it, and it doesn't open it anywhere else. And this is annoying. Okay, what if I do that, but I don't like it. I very much don't like it. Like using the Windows version, well, that just means that it'll have to use the absolute file path. You might be right. You might be right. Okay, so browser. Oh, you're even righter on that. I was gonna use my tool to get like the beginning part, or rather the full part, by using PWD. It's pretty good. And now we can target doc HTML, and we go to remove the dot, and that should be it. Nope. If you're in WSL, you need to translate it to WinPath. Ah, God, that's annoying. Fuck. Yeah, that makes sense. I see that. God, that's annoying. Jesus. Okay. See, and I'll be able to make a program in Rust, which I wanted to make, but making it in C# just felt annoying. Let's see if this works. I doubt it, but who knows. Rust learning guessing game target doc help HTML. Wait, I forgot this, right? WSL has a tool to do. Really? Wait, since when? I guess I never looked. Usually if I don't have a solution... Oh, wow, so it worked, even with these slashes. Please tell me what tool that is. That's like the first time I heard about it. WSL path -W. Okay. Let's check WSL path. WSL path. Oh yeah, you're so right. What? First time I'm hearing about it. Huh, that's cool. That's very good to know. Thank you. Huh. And I imagine the -W means Windows. Translate, yeah, from a WSL to Windows path with instead of interesting. Force the result to absolute path format. Translate from Windows path to a WSL path. So it does that by default. Interesting. Well, okay. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it just opened the overall one instead of the specific one. Because there's like no sections. So let's try doing this again. Browser, and then we oh right, hold up. There's probably some like fish magic I can do. Basically I specify, okay, first of all, I'm trying to think of a way to do this like in a single thing. Okay, let's just try if it works and then try to do it the smarter way. Guessing game, and then target doc help.html, and we ys inside big word single quotes. Yeah, let's see if this works. No, I don't think it does. Yeah, like, it would have sections, correct? I wonder, though, about cargo dock open. Is there, like, some... Hello! Is there some way... Opens the docs in a browser after the operation. What's interesting is that when I use, like, the other documentation command with, I think, rust up, that works. Are you trying to view the auto-generate docs? Yes, correct. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Package to document, quiet, workspace, exclude, color when. No dependencies don't build documentation, so that is done by default, I imagine. Document private items. Jobs, offline, run without accessing the network. Sure, let's try that. So let's kado, and I forgot already what I actually said. Offline. And I immediately miss it. Yeah, offline. Okay, offline. Well, it doesn't work. Okay. So, I'm like mega confused. Okay, so I can grab this path and then, yeah, browser, that, kinda annoying. Did you run cargo doc? I ran cargo doc -- open. Or do I have to first run cargo doc and then -- open? Maybe that's not what you're implying, but it would make sense. So let's run cargo doc first to make sure it's actually generated. No. Okay, I misthought, if that's a word. So when you use open, it does generate everything correctly. So WSL path -w, this entire thing, turn this into a Windows path. Okay. Oh, it now works. That is good to know. I just kind of wish, like, there was a way to... Oh. My fucking bad. Hold up. I don't have to use -- open. I can instead cargo doc that generates the doc. Then if we did, we I guess as simple as browser and then WSL path -w, and here we provide the path to it, which could be like find index HTML. So this is very much automatable, like mega automatable. So I'm gonna add it to my things that I want to do. Come on. Automate Windows cargo doc open. Unless there's obviously like a better solution. PWD plus target plus project plus doc. See, like project. I feel like I would spend more time to figure out how to get that. or I would need to pass it, or I could just straight up use find to find index.html. Yeah. So find something something something, path is target doc asterisk slash index.html, and here we go. You can hard code it. What do you mean? I'm gonna obviously open docs for different projects. Unless I'm misunderstanding you. Like, no, I'm not gonna hard code the project name, obviously not. But yeah, my solution of what I think is basically I use find providing the path, but instead of the project name, it's an asterisk, and we get the path to that file, and along with pwd, we get the entire path, but the Linux one, then we use wsl path -w to get the Windows one, and then we browser open that path that we got. Index.html path is always the same based on your project name. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's why I even like considered automating this so quickly, because the pathing is very reasonable, like mega super reasonable. But the project name is like, or hold up. Yeah, actually, no need to use find, because I thought of something that I could use in fish. Base name and then pwd. What? Hold up. Missing operand. Here we go. That's how we get the project name. But this will expect you to be in the project when you want to open docs, which I guess you would usually be doing, you know? So that's fine. Okay, that's like mega easy, so we can just implement it. I hate fish, so you lost me. See, same, like, I can relate. The first time I tried fish, and actually the second time I tried fish, God, so much anger out of me, because it has so much, like, it's mega hard to search. It's so hard to search for things in fish. Even if you know what you're searching for, finding it is sometimes surprisingly difficult. So I get you on that. But once I figured out the most important things, now it's like significantly easier than other shells. Because I'm always having to run bash scripts and fish will fail. Well, run them with bash. It's as simple as that. Like, there is a reason why we put these at the top. It's so scripts are run with the correct thing. You use fish not necessarily because, oh, there are so many fish scripts, oh my god. No, you use fish because, oh my god, I want to write some scripts, but god do I hate the way POSIX compliant shells work. And instead, fish shell is actually far more reasonable to actually use, so therefore I'm going to be using that. That's the reason why I usually use it. I use Z shell plus fish style autocomplete, and I have never looked back. I did. I was having pretty much the same things, but I did notice that some of them were like understandably whack, and I was being held up by using Z shell. Fish wasn't really, like, on the surface level, fish wasn't really like significantly better. No, not really. But I decided to try it out because, well, there's something about this shell. And I did. And the surface level stuff were like cool and great. But what really now makes me like fish a lot is the non-surface level stuff. the like function making of fish, which is so much better. So I made this thing. So I can press Ctrl S, and now I use FZF to fuzzy search, basically LSing into files, which is incredibly useful, and I would never in a million years would be able to code this entire thing in Z shell. No way. It would be like ridiculous there. And this is the file with all this. So we have pick, that lets you pick, and a bunch of other stuff. I was only able to do this because I had a far more reasonable language to work with compared to Z shell or bash. So this is the reason why you use fish. Let's go to functions, and I really fucking hope, quickly implement this function, which is going to be called cargo doc open. So it looks like an abbreviation, but isn't quite that. Func save cargo, and make it shut up. So basically, so set -L. I have hotkeys in Z shell that would open FZF in the current directory. I have similar macros set up for my Git projects. I used to have that as well, where it just opens FZF in the current directory and like searches everything. Like, yeah, I used to use that, but I didn't like how much it was giving me. I'm a very like organized, I guess, person, so I always know more or less where things are. I just need to see like the ls of that folder to figure out where to go next. So having all these choices was like annoying to me. So having this solution where I pretty much like ls, look, and fuzzy search is so much better for me, which is why I use it now, rather than the search everything in the current directory. Because like inputting paths by typing them in and then using tab is just not for me. Fuck, why do I keep doing this? Some hotkeys are just ingrained in my memory, like muscle memory. So I sometimes just open Discord unprompted. Just crazy. Okay, so we set -L project name, which is going to be base name. And thankfully we just have pwd, so we don't have to make a separate local variable for pwd. Why not new shell? Nashal? Or new shell? So do I understand correctly that this is a shell? Well, if it is, very simple, not enough hype. Just not enough hype. Fish gets a lot of hype, and that interested me. I mean, come on, I'm learning Rust right now. Why do you think I do that? Because it's such a great language that will secure my app. Do I look like a secure my app kind of girl? No, I don't. I'm learning things often because of hype around them. Yeah, I don't. So I only know, like, I know bash, obviously, I know Z shell, obviously, I know fish, and I've heard of dash. That's about it. Checking out shells is kind of new to me. Well, that's good. I haven't heard about it, like, ever. I guess I don't watch enough programming content. I usually, like, watch long ass streams of Hassan, and that's it. I should watch more programming content. Okay, so we got the project name, which is the only variable. What next? So this is the thing that will change. Oh, hold up. Oh, yeah, it's all good. It's beautiful, modern. That can potentially be a disadvantage, which I know sounds mega strange, but I don't want my shell to do too much. Fish is like that, like at points where it does a bit too much, not to like a considerable extent where it's like really bad. Like, no, not really, but I don't want my shell to do too much. Like, I don't want my shell to have multiple cursors, you know? Like that's too much. Not saying that it does. Look how it shows your directory and ls. You would love it. Maybe I will eventually. But right now, I want to more so focus on Rust, so we can actually get to making Rust programs and stop fucking programming in fish shell, which I, unfortunately, once again am doing. I do like how in fish it specifies asterisks with files and slashes with directories. I think that's pretty cool. And those only appear if you have like colors on. And if you like ls and then into less, those are not there anymore, which is really nice. Oh, fuck, sorry. Okay. So, this entire thing is just pwd, and then we got target doc project name index.html. And then we WSL path this entire shit, and then we browser that shit. It's so easy. Set-l full path. By the way, I hate like snake case, but I like to follow language standards like to some degree, so that's why I'm naming things this way. And I guess it makes sense for the language, but fuck, like, bro, Rust, why is this your standard? I don't like it. What do you think about like snake case versus Pascal case? Or no, not Pascal, camel case. I like camel case more. So we get pwd. Oh, actually, you don't even need to. We can once again just use pwd. Not sure of the difference. It might be like significant, but I wouldn't know. So pwd, that's where we start, and we get to the project directory, and then we simply target doc, and then we project name and index HTML. So exactly what you said, like in the beginning somewhere, that it's you can hard code it. I eventually got to this point. I didn't quite get what you were meaning by that. My mind immediately went to, oh right, I should use the find command to find the file. Like no, I don't have to. So yeah, you're mega right. So we get this path, and now we can just browser WSL path, which once again, thank you so much for telling me about. I didn't know that it was a thing. And full path, and that should be it, to be fair, right? We open that thing in the browser. Yeah, that should be it. So let's run functions, and Kato. But I still had the fucking abbreviation. Okay, let's do Kato. Here we go. Yeah, it seems like it. The fact that you already like knew these things, having someone that already knows the way things work is so helpful when you're learning new things. Like, I would definitely not be coming into fish if Misha didn't, like, I guess, draw me in. I love snake case because I came from Python. Bycasing is only important when your LSP is deficient, because it should be able to tell you what something is. Do you mean by that like using different casings to mean different things? Well, obviously I use LSPs, but I think it's still helpful to use different casings for different things, so it's like obvious at a glance. Like, sure, it's not a guaranteed rule, you can break it, like in most cases, but I think having the clarity at a glance is very valuable. Which is why I think even like coloring your code in the way that makes the most sense for you can help you like write better code, believe it or not. So yeah, Kato works. But once I actually switch to Linux fully, I won't have to do this fucking strange bullshit. That's what casing was originally for. LSP should color it. Well, yeah, it colors it as well, you know? Like, looking at a type name that starts from a lowercase letter, that feels so incorrect to me, unless it's a primitive, obviously. But if it's like a type, a class, an interface, so on, seeing it from a lowercase letter feels so wrong to me. It's about looks, it's about aesthetics. Like, a big reason for why I use VS Code, for example, is because it's straight up just beautiful. Like, it's such an important point to me. To me, beauty can sometimes be more valuable than functionality, depending on situation, like, for real. Sometimes, if something looks more beautiful, like, that counts a lot. Let's quickly commit this. Add, hold up. Cato, yeah, Cato. Working cargo doc open. But yeah, once I actually switch to full-on Linux, I won't have to use this function, which is exciting. Alright, let's actually... What was I even on? Maybe because I work with Java, Groovy, Python, Go, and Rust, I already learned that I don't care, but still prefer Snake. I feel like Snake case is the most readable. Who knows, maybe I'll actually change my opinion to that as well. Like, mega possible. But I think, yeah, and classes should start with capital letters. Fuck yeah, at least you agree on that. I think as you grow as a programmer, you care less about like small details. It's not that you care less necessarily, it's that you're less mad about them, I guess. Like, some time ago, I would be far more restricted in what I could use, or I guess allow myself to use. I don't know, like PHP. No, I would never touch it. At this point, like, if I needed to, yeah, sure, like, I would learn it and use it. So basically, you become less extreme. Or so I think. Functions lowercase. See, that I disagree with. I like my functions uppercased, like Pascal cased, and variables camel cased. Types also Pascal cased. Constants and globals, screaming snake case, as they call it. Right. So we have this compare. I think an important part of learning is actually like typing in the code yourself. It's once you know it like incredibly well, then you can just ignore typing it in. But when you're just starting out, I think the physical typing in of the code that you're looking at can be mega useful. Yes, absolutely, functions or uppercase. Yeah, absolutely. That way they stand out. Let me show you an example. They are like immediately clear. I think a C# example would work better, because in C#, oh wait, hold up. Let's go to lib and rgrep. Yes, static. Let's rgrep static so we can show you some static methods. Media actions, sure. Media actions. See, like, if this started with a lowercase letter, and sure, maybe it would be a snake case, for example, it's not as, it doesn't stand out as much. But here it's like very obvious that, yo, this is a function, rather than anything else, rather than a variable, for example. Like, I like looking at that far more. Write it out on whiteboard. Honestly, fair, like, but even better, I think. I use my whiteboard, which I have, by the way, when I'm trying to figure out something, like some algorithm, for example. But in terms of remembering stuff and getting used to it, writing it with a pen on paper, it at the very least feels very good. By the way, is the stream delay high or is it my internet? No, yeah, it is high. My processor can't handle like low delay, which is why it's like 30 seconds. Can't do much about it, because if I had a lower delay, it would take like, I don't know, a full second for me to do the action that I just did. Yeah, that's normal, unfortunately. I just have a laptop and that's like legit it. So that's why that's the case. So let's do match. How do I feel on the red for this? Yeah, very good. I did a lot of recoloring today of my code, so I'm going to be looking out for things that I might want to change as well. Okay, so guess, and on it, CMP. Interesting. What is as? Huh. Secret number. So immediately I think that I want to disable is something like Rust analyzer snippets. I don't like when things fill things in for me. How the fuck do you spell it? Oh, analyzer, lamau. Okay, analyzer. No, don't fill arguments, but do no snippet completions for callables. Oh, add call parentheses. Let's try this. Let's actually redo this. You need to enable in line highlighting. Really? I think it's mega annoying. It's like way too much. Like way too visible. Okay, this is very reasonable. Get the error lens extension for VS Code. I don't like it. It's once again too much. Too much. I've used it. It's like it's too screamy. Like I'll look at the error once I need to. So say I save right now and I have this error, and don't worry, I'm not going to be using my mouse to look at it. I just press Alt H and like here it is. So I really don't need to, and plus I like the command line, so even just running catch, like I like that. I like doing that straight up rather than getting blasted with information that I'm going to fix regardless in like a second. That's why I love it. It takes care of that error right away. What do you mean? The Ireland's extension? See, I hate that. I'm not a huge fan of linters to begin with. They like scream at you way too fast. Like, bro, chill out. I'm just creating the code. Obviously it doesn't work yet. I haven't finished fucking writing my sentence. So getting screamed extra is just unnecessary. It's once I finish writing the like programming sentence, you could say, and it still shows an error, then I want to look at it. Not immediately. It's like too much. Okay, so compare to secret number. And then we ordering. Oh wow, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. I love that. So once you accept a snippet, it will also automatically bring in the correct using statement, which is really cool. Wow, that's cool. Huh. You can make it run on save only. That's exactly what I have. But like, even then, I really don't need that much information for me. I started at and I learned that using AutoHotkey V1, and you get no fucking help there. Seeing the errors constantly being screamed at me is too much help, which I can afford to get on my own, you know? So it's like too much. Oh, that's the fucking type hint. I thought that, why are you suggesting this to me? This is the type hint. I see. Okay, so less. So this immediately, I want to be red because I'm used to it being red in other languages that I use. You don't use Rust Analyzer to tell you the type hints. No, I do. That's exactly what's happening. I just kind of forgot about it. I'm only like starting to actually code in Rust, so seeing types being displayed for Rust is new to me. That's why I got confused. Let's go to red, but to here, and add this here. Now it's red. Perfect. We don't need it. So if less, then too small. Lamau. That's what she said. Okay, commas. I feel like interesting about the commas. Without knowing the expression versus statement rules in Rust specifically, I would expect this comma to be a semicolon instead. But I know that match, like this entire thing, is an expression, which is really cool. But like when you just start out, it's not obvious, I would say. to medium. Oh, you win, but we actually have to put it last because a match statement is not like a map comparison, I guess. Semicolon forces a return in Rust. Yeah. I've read ahead, so I do know that the last expression in the function is automatically returned, and an expression is basically, more or less, something that doesn't end with a semicolon. But like, if you don't know that, that's like not obvious, I would say. Hold up, what did it do just now? It automatically suggested me the different variants of it. Holy shit. Wow. The IntelliSense for Rust is nutty. It's so good. I don't think I've had like better IntelliSense. Too big. Do we get any errors if there is a comma there? No, which is really good. Oh. Did we actually implement the secret number? I forget. Maybe it's not called secret number? Huh. Like, I have noticed that, oh, this doesn't compile. But I'm trying to figure out why myself. So we pass a reference, and what does this expect? Huh, expected reference to a string, but got to a... I'm surprised. Ah, because guess is a string, right? Haha. And like, what are we doing comparing that? Okay, I see. First we add that, which can be done for us via IntelliSense, which is just so cool. Yeah, and when you try to use ordering, you automatically get this thing. I was like worrying that, oh my god, like typing in the namespace and then 2 fucking colons and then the thing all of the time in Rust is going to be so annoying. I completely fucking forgot about IntelliSense because I didn't think it would be this fucking good. Like, maybe I'm overreacting, but this is already like very good. This an enum. Patterns and the match construct are powerful Rust features. They still haven't mentioned like, oh, actually, we're trying to compare a string to an integer and that doesn't work. But I do remember that they get to it eventually. You know what I thought of? No, that's fucking stupid. Okay, so you can do cargo run to, well, build and run your application. But what if you wanted to not build it and just run it? And and that's a stupid thing to say, because cargo run will just do that if nothing changed. And if something changed, why are you trying to run the old version? Makes no sense. Lol. Makes a debug in the target. No, I know. Like, I was thinking of making a function that automatically finds the path to the built executable and, well, executes it. But that's literally what CarQ does. That's literally what it does. If nothing has changed, it just runs it. You can run directly. I know. Yeah, I know. But like going to the path, basically we go to target, then we go to debug, and then I need to remember the name of my project, which I'm sorry can be difficult for me. Like with my like cool getting the paths method, this is still like too much effort for something that you might do very often. So I'm thinking of making a function that does that for me. Maybe like Caro would do exactly that. But then I realized that it's a stupid idea because CarQ already pretty much does it, you know? Yes. Or actually, let's run Koch so we can actually look at it. I want to get used to looking at Rust errors. They're very pretty. We're trying to compare, I guess, to the secret number, which we expected to be a reference to a string, which this is, but found a reference to an integer. Huh, interesting that it doesn't specify which type of integer, just integer overall. Interesting. Expected reference method defined here. Oh, huh. That's cool. Huh, that's cool. I see. Mismatched types. I always find it so like funny when I'm probably like thinking of no boilerplate the most here, but the whole phrase Rust has a robust strong type system. It's like so overused, like the phrase like itself so overused. In the same way where they said match is a like robust feature of Rust. Bro, it's a switch statement. You're like acting way too high and mighty for something this simple. It just works well, sure, but calling a switch statement a fucking like groundbreaking feature is just kind of like, I don't know, lunacy to a point. It's cool for sure. I very much like it. I do notice how it's better than your run-of-the-mill switch statement, but like sometimes things are godified more than they should be, or at least that's how I hear them. By the way, I hate this. I hate this. I despise this. I wanted Rust to make you have to specify the types always, but it has type inference, so you're not really supposed to specify the types. And I don't know, that kind of makes me sad. Is that crazy to say? But like, oh, that's actually cool. Double click to insert. Huh. A similar thing is the case for the C# LSP as well. Yeah, like even if I don't use it, I still see it. Like, sure, I know I could disable it if I wanted to, but it's important information. And since I already see it in my LSP, I might as well specify it like myself explicitly. I'm just kind of sad that the language doesn't make you do it no matter what. It's more fun. Oh, it's more than a switch. Pattern matching can also match in type, which gets rid of comparison overhead. Which gets rid of comparison overhead. Can match on ranges. Yeah, you're probably right that I don't know enough Rust to fully comprehend why they're so good. Like, for now, they sound like, I mean, cool, like a bit of a better switch statement, whatever. But I'm probably underestimating them. And I guess I'll learn that. This means you can have a return of multiple types. And based on the type, do a specific action. See, is that a good programming practice? We can return different types. And I'm not talking about the option enum, by the way, because it's a single type. That's enum, that's a single type that can have variants, but it's still a single type that you return no matter what. The idea of a function returning different types, possibly, is like... Or maybe I'm talking about something else. By multiple types, do you mean like the example with the enum that I just gave? In which case, yeah, that's mega reasonable. And I guess, yeah, you couldn't like, I'm a Rust function and I can return a string or an integer sometimes. I guess that doesn't happen, right? You have this type in Rust. You have this type. Well, this by itself is not a type. It's a way for you to pass a type. And I'm pretty sure, or at least that's the case in C#. T is just a convention. You can actually name it however you want. But yeah, go on. It's generic. I've touched upon them, I've used them, but like not to a huge extent. Yeah. But I guess my point exactly is that are generics like a good idea? Is it a good practice, pretty much, to use a generic? Which I know is a ridiculous question. Everything is a good practice under certain circumstances. And there are circumstances where you can't like use the correct way because it's like unviable for some reason. Which is why generics even exist in strongly typed languages. But like for the most part, yeah, like generics very much shouldn't be your first option to go to, I feel like. Not good practice to use different types. Yeah, so I thought. And vec, I imagine, is a vector. Oh, that's another thing that I dislike about Rust, the fact that it's the fact that it trims down the names of functions that really don't need to be trimmed down, like rev instead of reverse, len instead of length, vec instead of vector, I imagine. Like, it's so unnecessary. We have autocomplete. Like, ugh. A list. Oh yeah. Oh, I see. I do remember hearing something about like the fact that in languages like C++ and so on, something that is essentially a list is called a vector. Optimization reasons, you say, like to use generics. Yeah, like that's mega fair. I love, by the way, how Rust specifies integer, or I guess overall number types, the different types of number types. They like enable you to use different ones. You absolutely can use different types of integers in C# too, but the whole like structure of the language, I guess, is almost like made around specifically not doing that. Or at least that's my experience, unfortunately. While in Rust, I guess you're more supposed to be more pedantic, where specifically picking U8 or something of that nature can be nice. When you make a vector of integer 64, it is much different in the compiler than vect. Yeah, I know. I imagine vector in 64 would be like, I mean, saying faster, I'm sure, is a very reductive way of looking at it. I read that using anything less than 64-bit types is bad. I have read that using anything less than 64-bit types is bad. Why? If you have some guarantee, like maybe a logical guarantee, that a number will not get smaller or bigger than some value, then yeah, use them. Apparently they are more optimized to fit your RAM's block size. Huh. Let me like make an example out of this take. And it's going to be ironic because that's what I do. Imagine you have a block of soap. You use it, and then there's just not that much of it. Which is why it's more like annoying / difficult for you to use that block of soap, because it's no longer a block. It's more like a list, I guess, of soap. It's too thin, like uncomfortable to use. So you throw it out. This is a very similar take. That, oh, let's like use more RAM because it's more convenient that way. Well, not necessarily convenience, like more optimized. And the same thing goes for soap. Throwing it out and just using a new one is optimizing my life, because I feel better washing my hands with the better soap. Like, I don't know, like, I would rather be more pedantic with the memory that I use, even if it never ends up mattering. I still want to. I've always wanted to, and I ran into C#, being super happy that I could finally do that, and it doesn't seem like... Not like it isn't accepted. It's just not what people usually do. It's not the general practice. The general practice is, unfortunately, you use var. Basically, let the compiler decide what type you're using, which is it's so sad. So sad. Maybe other people just already got tired of doing that, but to me, explicitly specifying the type is so, like, cool. It's so incredibly cool. So it's sad to me that, like, when languages make you not have to do it. Apparently, your analogy is a little bit wrong. Your CPU can only act on one row of RAM at a time, and in a 64-bit computer, that means each row is 64-bit. I mean, yeah. Then, like, we use less RAM. But apparently the optimization isn't good, and performance ends up being worse when type don't fit the whole row. I don't know, even if I'm wrong on this and you're correct in this case, this is the first time I'm hearing about this, so I still want to live in my dreamland where I use, like, U8 to maximize RAM. And also, like, programming is often a game of performance versus RAM, and you pick and choose which one you want more. And let me show you that I want RAM more than performance so far. So even though these, like, pretty small changes and, like, what I pick for integers, it's probably not gonna matter at all ever, I still want to make those distinctions, even if it is technically slower. So that's how we do it. Let me try to just U32. See, I very much like this specification. You know what I don't like, by the way? The fact that a type and a function are the same color in this color scheme. Check the first answer on Google. Is using 64-bit integers faster than less bits ones? Sure. Is using 64-bit integers, sure, faster than lower bit ones. Okay. Good point. Mega good point. I mean, I'm expecting what this is. Mega good point. Yeah. Which helps my case. If you let color and then explicitly U8, we're pretty much specifically saying that you specify the color from 0 to 255. This adds readability that, in my opinion, is quite important. Wait, hold up. Do you need to include it? No, I doubt it, right? If you let it like cuck itself or did it yourself, like I64, then you don't really know as much what you're supposed to put in there. And then maybe there's some hard-coded value which like isn't really supposed to be there, but say it's this, and you use I64 to make it more performant, as you say. And you need to, well, not fucking UA, surely. No, but I do like the fact that you have to include everything rather than your language having a bunch of shit like already. I do like that. I'm just surprised a bit. Yeah, so here you have an I64 because, as you say, it's more performant. But that loses the additional readability that you would get by specifying U8 instead. Where now it's obvious, well, maybe not obvious, but far more understandable that you can only go up to 255 and down to up to including 0, you know? And this readability is miles more important than the, I can pretty safely guess, negligible performance boost that you would get by using I64. I agree, that's how it should be. Yeah, absolutely. It's a problem languages trying to satisfy all CPU architectures. Hold up. Maybe I'm missing some context. Basically, it depends on the use case, but usually true for 64-bit CPU. I mean, yeah. True. And like performance, yeah, pretty much. Thank you for constructing my point correctly. Yeah, usually that will not matter at all. Whatever like integer type you pick, for the most part, is more preference than it is anything of importance. And when you need to optimize things, it's unlikely that changing a few integer types will do the trick. Unlikely. It's probably going to be other like structural changes in the code. And if you need to be this like hyper specific, then you're either a beginner who's like trying their best to like understand and use their tools to like the highest extent, which is why a lot of beginners like to like over focus on speed, or you're actually doing some mega important program that needs to be as fast as humanly possible. I'm not calling you a beginner, by the way. Just something that I noticed in myself and in other people. I just mentioned the 64 thing because it's good to know. True, that's interesting. However, like, let's continue reading this thing. I think, like, this is obviously the better answer to it. Oh, it's very likely if you're dealing with huge lists. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Like planetary types. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. It's interesting information. I'm not like knowledgeable on how processors work and so on. So this is interesting. But knowing myself, I could easily like implement this like cool tip of knowledge into something that I actively overuse, you know? Thinking it has more importance than it actually does. Alright, so where were we? Okay, so let guess is U32. Okay, so we... By the way, I love shadowing in Rust. It makes immutability by default very nice. So guess trim. We trim the white space. We parse it into the type that we specified on the left. If something happened, then we panic. Is it like complaining about this? No, not anymore. And now everything is correct. Huh. Okay, so let's disable this setting as well. Rust analyzer function. It's probably not it, right? Well, let's check. Yeah, that's not it. Inline something? Hint? Whether to show... I'm trying to remove this thing. Pretty sure I enabled it because I didn't know what it was. Now I realize that I don't like it because I have this here. I don't need this information. Inlay type hints for binding modes. No idea what that is. I have no fucking clue. Closure captures. I doubt it. Yeah, that's not it. Closure return type hints. I don't know. Like, for me, it's useless because I use breadcrumbs. So that's why I want to remove it. Do you know what it's called? Well, now I'm confused. It's not a type hint because it's not a variable. Yeah, I'm not finding it either. It's like kinda annoying. But I think I saw it. Inlay. Hold up. Let's measure this. Haha! Inlay hints. Inlay. No, that thing was good actually. That I liked a lot. Here we go. Yeah, cool. So it's called an inlay hint, interestingly. Whether to show inlay hints after a closing to indicate what item it belongs to. I don't often find that, like, I haven't found myself in a situation where I would want that, but maybe I will in the future. But so far, like, yeah, I know it's main because here I am. I don't look at the breadcrumbs that often, but I might. Alright, let's car Q. Mm-hmm. 96. Alright. Uh, 66. Mm-hmm. And 24. Cool. That's cool. That's great. I'm so sleepy, by the way. I don't know why, like, I'm supposed to be, like, very much fine in another hour, but I've been sleepy, like, for a couple of hours now. And I actually decided to stream to get energy, which I know sounds counterproductive, but I think it kind of works for me, but still. Don't quite get why I'm so tired. Shadowing, yes. I love this so much. I like had to do that all the time in a hotkey. Maybe not had to, but did. That's for sure. And now we don't have to. It's mwah, love that. This, by the way, is very annoying. Well, okay, like, it makes sense, but it's pretty annoying. Like, you will, for the most part, if not literally always, want to remove this new line. Yeah, I'm in Russia, unfortunately. So it's 7 p.m. right now, for me. Why did Windows just decide to fucking do this? And on Mac is just \r with no n. It's so like, ugh. Just use a single n, you fucking freaks. Very helpful, by the way. You know, the hotkey, for example, trim also exists, but it will trim any white space except the \r, which is why I used to use regex all the time to trim white space. I was born in Rostov. Oh, wow! Holy shit! Wait, is that a Russian town or a Ukrainian town? I forget. I actually, like, I visited that place. It's so cool. It's so, like, it's fucking beautiful. Loved that town. I was with my grandma there, and she's religious, so we went around many, like, how do we call them? Like, basically religious places, which I obviously fucking didn't care about. Not just because I'm not religious, but also because I was a fucking kid. And it was fucking hot as hell. Why are we going? It's so boring, so incredibly boring. At that time, at the very least, I wanted to see the town, but here we are, fucking looking at Kram. I don't know what it is in English. At least I forget. Cerkvia. Yeah, them. Like, I hate that about, like, old tourists. I'm mega projecting, by the way, like, mega. It's probably just her way of exploring stuff, when other older people may do it differently, but, like, it's so annoying to me. Why are you going around fucking museums and cerkvia? Like, that shit, so boring. Go around the town, feel the energy of the city, like, see how the people move and feel, and do they smile? How do they interact? How the weather, like, how did it affect different things? What's the culture of the city? That's so much more interesting than, oh, 300 years ago there was this guy who's, like, very important, and wow, blah 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 blah. Like, that's boring in comparison to what other things you can discover in the city. They don't smile. I think you just haven't been in Angarsk, where I am right now. Now, these people, they definitely don't smile. People in Rostov might, possibly. Not here, though. They might smile if they see a trans woman, but they won't be smiling for a good reason. Yeah, it's not a good city. You get to stand silent, light some candles, and the guy with a beard will blow some smoke on you. Yeah, like, that's cool, like, if you're religious and you find meaning in that, and I guess, like, importance of that. But when I want to explore a city, my focus is on such different things, like absolutely opposite ones, where to me it just feels like, why? I guess the why is more so, why was I dragged into that? Not necessarily why would people be interested in that. The people, sure. I just don't want to be in that. And I had the experience of being super mega fucking bored, which I not fondly remember. There was some time where we finally, in another city by the way, Kazan, we finally get to the like center of the city after going through fucking 6, I think, chrams or cerkvs. And that's the exciting part. I see some teenagers which are like far more alive than I've ever seen in my city. There are people outside like playing music, a lot of different cool people, and we don't even stay there. We just went there to go to the medicine shop and leave. And leave, bro! That shit was so disappointing. We just went through fucking 6 mega boring places, and then we don't even discover the interesting place, and then we fucking left. Yeah. Fuck that shit. I don't know why, I suddenly remembered it. Oh, I guess from Russia? Oh, I guess from you. Right. I remembered the city. That's why I went on this whole fucking tangent. I don't think so. I think the danger that befalls you is pretty, reliant on how scared you are. It's a personal belief that has worked, flawlessly for me once I implemented it into my life. And it may seem unfair, but I do think that the more scared you are of something bad happening to you, the more likely it is that it will. I just think that it's not possible. It's just not the path of life for me. So that's why I think I am not. Which I do realize is very, girl take. Nearing astrology, but not quite. Manifest destiny. Exactly, yeah. A lot of people around me, or I guess people that were around me at some point where I was in university, those people were scared constantly of everything. Scared of the next exam, test, class, teacher, person, concept, idea, anything. Fear was constant and an integral part of most people that I was around with. And I just holy shit, how do you live? I know it's very arrogant to say that, oh, how do you live like that? But it felt so foreign to me because prior to that, I worked a lot on my fears and how I perceive the world, where now I'm not as scared, or I guess I'm not as ready to relish in being scared. When I guess most people I don't wanna say haven't matured enough. Not quite. I guess they didn't go through the same path where they unlearned being scared of like things, I guess. They haven't, which is why they're still so used to being scared of things all over the place. And that felt just, oh my god. Being scared is not a very helpful emotion. It's okay to feel emotions, obviously. But first of all, by being scared, you increase the chance of that thing happening. And on the other hand, if you're scared, like, okay, it's normal to have that emotion, do something about that fear to remove the cause of that fear. If you're scared of the next test that is coming, okay, what can you do? If you have time to study, use that time to study until you're satisfied with yourself. If you realize that there is no fucking way for you to, like, waddle over out of that situation, accept that you're fucked. You're going to be better off emotionally, like, not wallowing in fear. If you're fucked already, just accept it and it's gonna feel easier. What can you do to not get conscripted? Okay, so I slightly lied. I don't know what conscripted means. But I thought about the two things that you might mean, and my thought that I just gave applies to both of them. Is constricted like being called to the war? Or is conscripted like being listened to by the government? If it's the former, like, good luck trying to find me. My documents are all over the place. How the fuck is prepiska in English? It's probably a like non-existing concept. I see. 300k in September. Yeah, basically, good luck trying to find me. I am registered, I guess I could say, that I live in one place. Then I moved to a different city, to a university, registered there, then left without saying a word, so there's the weird documents there that might have not been handled still. Then I moved back to the previous place that I lived at, which I'm not registered in, and then I moved. Really? You're probably thinking of the different word. Prepiska is where you're registered that you live in. You're probably talking about the paper that they give you, basically saying you have to go to the army now. I don't remember what that word is, which is like great sign. Basically, it's hard to find me, and there are plenty of other people that are easier to find. And soon enough I'm gonna move again too, confusing the whole process of how to find me even further. And plus, life has been like incredibly, I guess, helpful to me. I am stupidly fucking lucky. I don't see a way where my luck would end in this way. Unless I like dream of murder too much, then maybe. But like going to the war is basically being given a legal right to kill people, which does sound exciting to me. I'm gonna be fair, but not Ukrainians. Absolutely fucking not. Like, no. So I'm not gonna dream that into existence. Does that mean that you're rich? No, absolutely fucking not. I don't even have a job. But I'm working on getting a job right now so I can move back to the city that I so loved being in. So, no, I'm not rich. And also, there are like legal ways to evade the army. I can probably cook something up. Like, for example, I'm trans. Russia is ridiculous enough where maybe I could use that to like argue that I have a mental illness that prevents me from going to the army or the war. Maybe. No, not at all. I learned English completely myself, and it cost me $0 or rubles. Zero, nothing. Completely learned it completely myself. Didn't pay anything for it. I just really wanted to learn this language, and it's been paying off ever since. So yeah, thank you very much. But about abroad, obviously, as any sane Russian, I want to eventually move out of this country to some better country. Thank you. I think the motivation, I worked on that actually like a lot. I basically bullied myself into not having an accent anymore. Anytime I spoke English, like practicing, and noticed words that I pronounce weirdly, I practiced those words like a lot, so I would pronounce them in the way that I want to pronounce them in. Where now, I speak in a way that I quite like. Some things are still like, they may sound weird or unusual, but I like how they sound, so I don't change them. It's a matter of a lot of work that I put into the language, because I was racist to myself. It's probably not the correct word to use, but I wouldn't let myself just have an accent. Fuck no. That's cringe. That's what I thought on myself. I don't think that about other people. Yeah. I live in Canada. I am a Russian immigrant for 30 years. Oh, wow. And I know a lot of Russians. You have better English than some that have been living here for 30 years. Wow. That's fucking cool. Canada is such a cool country, by the way. I've heard some things about it, and it's like a certified good country. I'm thinking of moving to something like Netherlands, or maybe Germany, something of that sort. Ever since I was a kid, I had the dream of moving to America, obviously. By America, I mean US. But the more I watch Hassan, the less I want to do that. Because that country, like, at first it was exciting just how ridiculous and stupid that country was. But now I'm realizing that it's a bit too ridiculous. Like, way too much. Bro, really? Anti-trans laws in 2023 or 2? Like, that's crazy. Like, reverting things that were good beforehand in a supposedly developed country. So I don't think I want to move to US anymore. Like, that's if I can just live in a country that will more or less accept me as I am. That's a whole fucking argument. Socialism is not about not making money. But also, I'm not gonna make this argument for him. He elaborated on this many times. But yeah, basically socialism is not be poor. It's not what it's about. Well, he specifically talks about the difficult things that minorities, for example, experience in the US. True, he has privilege, obviously, but he's talking about that. He's talking about the existence of that privilege and other privileges and how that affects people. Which is good, I think. It like I don't think it should matter what position you're in, as long as you fight for good things. Like, for example, minorities experience difficulties everywhere. See, the US is a bit too much, though. Harder than the USA? Are you sure? I know, I doubt it. And also, the phrase "go be black" in Italy. It's so funny. Like, oh, okay. I'm gonna go do that. Nah, I don't believe you. Like, for a country that was built on racism, pretty much. I'm pretty sure racism is stronger there. People like to point at the USA about police brutality, but what I saw in Italy and Spain is way worse. Hmm. In Italy, you can be held a month without charge. Hmm. I don't really have an argument against that. I have a personal bias that I would like to keep, I guess. Because at the end of the day, it's not gonna be safer for me to be in the US compared in like a good country. Something like Canada or Netherlands or Germany. So by keeping that personal bias, I can basically restrict myself from moving into the US and making a, I think, wrong decision and be an in a country that will treat me better. Yeah, as a trans person. The things that are happening in terms of the... I fucking doubt it. With the laws that they're pushing, fuck no. There are, like, anti-trans laws currently, like, being made in the US, and it's affecting many states. I don't like where that's going. Like, I wouldn't invest in that. And Canada as well. I don't know how the acceptance is in Europe. I can only imagine more. Even straight men look gay there. So, surely more. The US is far more separated. The whole left and right thing is, for the most part, a US thing. In Canada, I can lose my job if I am anti-trans outside the workspace. Yeah, that's good. I think that should be the case. That's good. I haven't heard about that being the case in the US, which is probably just me not hearing about it. Like, I would like to believe that it would be the same case in the US, but regardless, I don't like the trend of where US is going. Same as USA, you say, I don't like the trend of where it's going in terms of trans things. It's very untrustable. Is that the case for Europe? Yeah, probably. Most likely. Plus, saying Europe is way too reductive. Like, comparing pretty much one country, the US, against the entire Europe. It has many different countries, which are different. Culturally, in terms of laws, so on. Like, it will be different in France than it is in Germany, for example. In many, many different things. The one good thing about the US, though, is that I could have guns, and that sounds incredibly exciting. But I don't know if it's worth it. I would definitely visit, for sure. But living there, I don't think I will. Let's look at the result. How do we do that? We do root result. Well, that's... goddamn. I think you would be very safe in the USA and Canada. I'm no longer looking at those places as options. Like, Canada, like, I could. I just don't really care about the country, you know? And Netherlands, I've been thinking about for some time, and Sweden too. Goodbye! Thank you for visiting the stream. Okay, how would I... Rest up docs. Hold up. Rest up docs std. And that way I can search for result. is a type used for returning and propagating errors. Oh my god, propaganda of errors! It is an enum with the variance OK and containing a value, representing error and containing an error value. So if it is OK, we grab the value. If it is not, we get an error with the error value. Okay, that's what I wanted to check. It's pretty cool, pretty cool. And then we, as Gene once said, destructure the data. Does Gene come from Gena? I wonder. We're using the expect method again. Why? Because we don't care, we want the program to panic. I love the cute little terms of the Rust language. The fact that they use the word panic. Like, that's so cute. That's so adorable. The OK variant of result. Yes, and expect will return the number that we want from the OK value. Nice, even though spaces were added. Sure, let's add spaces then. Let's car Q. A lot of spaces. 87. That's mega interesting. Ah, because we trim. That's an interesting bug. Well, it's not a bug. It's something that I haven't thought about. It would be reasonable to first trim by shadowing and then parse it. That's interesting. Allowing multiple guesses with looping. By the way, I really love how easily you can run projects in Rust. You can just git clone it, you go to the project, and you can be pretty damn sure you can just cargo run and it runs it. That's it. I have a feeling like in C# I would have more trouble trying to just run a project. I may be like giving C# more like negative clout than it really deserves. But that's how it makes me feel. Rust, I mean. I keep comparing it to C# where I had a worse experience for the most part. I also love that it just straight up has a loop statement. It's like so simple and you don't need to do, well, it's not particularly magic, but while true, is a hack that's been accepted incredibly much. A hack regardless. But a simple loop, meaning loop this like forever until I specify to not, I feel like that's better. You can argue that this is unnecessarily new syntax, like unnecessary new syntax, and that's a good point. That's a very good point. But I think like it's very much okay. So the secret number is that, and after it, oh, hold up, no. And after it, we wrap this whole thing in these, and everything fucking fucked up. A loop. Nice, the formatter worked. Please input your guess. Cool, 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 cool. So we just loop it infinitely until we guess it. Okay, let's try it. Card Q. Oh, I guess we still see the secret number, so it's not gonna be that useful. But basically you can keep trying. Too small. Oh, that's actually, we know that we get up to 100. Too big. We divide it, so 50, too small. We divide this, we can binary figure it out manually. Too small. Now this is more counting than it's worth, so like 85, like 95, 94. I know it prints the correct one, like I'm aware. Here we go. And we can win again, funnily enough. That's cool. As you can see, we've moved everything from the guess input prompt onward into a loop. The book is so cute. Okay, so when equal QPR. Oh, I haven't had screencast mode this entire time. Some VOD watchers are probably annoyed by that, so I'm sorry. Okay. Wait, hold up. Did I notice this correctly? Holy shit. Wow. What a language. It understood immediately where I wanted the other one to land. That is so... Jesus Christ. Is there an action? Oh my god. You can... Oh. Wait. Unwrap block. That does a very different thing from what I thought. Well, okay, what I wanted to do is this. It's like, okay, to do it manually, no big deal. I mean, I do use Vim after all. But I thought unwrap block meant that. When is it useful? I don't get it. Okay, what happens if I... Wait, no, not this. Inline parse. Huh. Is, So this block, in order to return... Wow. I'm going to be able to do something like this. We just evaluate this block, which is an expression. Let ref. I'm not sure what ref is. I guess we'll learn. Let ref this. Guess trim. Huh. So many interesting things to look at, wow. But you win, and then we break. Oh wow, I didn't even think of that. This entire block is an expression even though it has statements. Jesus Christ, wow, that is so nice. There's no like, oh, I can't use if statements in an expression, therefore I have to do this fucking shit, like condition and action, which I would sometimes have to do on a hotkey. Maybe not have to do, but end up doing because it's the most reasonable way to do it. Not in Rust. Wow. Is this just a variable? Variable other Rust. Yes, it is. I was wondering that maybe I could color this a bit differently. Whether or not there's actually no reason to. Okay, so we have you win, which breaks. But I'm pretty sure you do it like that. Print ln you quit, and then interesting. Oh wait, so there is an error. Alright, let's not run faster than the train then, because I do remember they explained how to do it better. Right. This is cool. So we just delete that, and now match, parse, and in parse we get okay, and this is now the number, and we just return the number. Oh, huh. It immediately understood it. I mean, I would be surprised. Well, yeah, that's exactly what it does. But still, it's kind of like cool. But if there is an error, which we're not gonna use, then we continue. This shouldn't be indented. Wait, what? Oh, that's interesting. You're supposed to have the comma regardless. What? What? Am I missing something? Huh? Wait, what why? Expected found expected type. The random ass action that I did by just trying things out. Boat, yes. The all known past tense of bite. Boat me in the ass. Lol. So no, I don't have to. But it's cool that I can, in case I add more things. Oh, sorry. So I wonder if the underscore is indeed a catch-all value, or if it's just the good practice name of a variable that you're not going to use. Because the latter is what I expect, rather than this being an actual special operator. So if we fail the parse, we start again. If we pick the correct thing, then like here we go. Okay, let's actually play it. First of all, this, and boom. Mm-hmm. 82, 50, 25, really? 12, 20, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Woohoo! Okay, okay, but why is that actually fun? What the fuck? Actually kind of fun. I guess because I just like made it. Fuck, I'll have so much more fun with this language. That's great. This is nice. Love this so much. I think I'm gonna like blast through chapters more quickly because I've read them already and I'm just like refreshing my memory. Okay, let's try. I can just open another terminal and that's it. Rust, test project, this one. What do you have? We have source. I want to open a NeoVim in source. What's happening here? Oh, I see. Let if equals some value. I want to look at the error message that this will give, or at least is supposed to give. Car, yeah, just car. Oh wow, it took not much time. Expected identifier found keyword if. Escape if to use it as an identifier. That's interesting. I mean, I do realize that you're not supposed to. Oh, well, that's okay. I can reselect it. No big deal. I can still use it if I want to. Oh, fucking the other way around. It's weird that it still lets me at least somehow do that. Oh, because it's unused. Okay, that's okay, that's okay. Test proj, one warning. Cargo fix bin test proj. to apply one suggestion. Oh wow. But like automatic suggestions just being done for you. Well, okay, let's try it. Cough. Coffee. No, I don't have it. Let's go to config. Cargo. Right? Cargo. Coffee. Cargo fix. Cargo fix. Yeah, pretty much. Bin test project. Sometimes fish just hangs. That's pretty cool that it doesn't touch anything. If it knows that you might not have a way of reverting it. It's very cute. Allow no VCS. Huh? Oh, yeah. Fixed. That's cute. Okay, let's now interesting. That's quite interesting. Hold up. Why is FN and let the same color? Oh, I guess it's because I don't have the LSP of any of them to it. That was interesting to figure out. Okay. So there are ways still, but like, why would you? All right, new project. This is exciting. So let's GAMP finish guessing game. Lens cargo new. Variables, right? Yes, variables. And now when we KS, we can see variables here. And here we are. First of all, cargo new G. Really? That's what I would expected. Oh, because cargo new format, which creates the formatter file to make it auto format with tabs, because that's what I know. All right, main var. And let's say like I do this. Let's format that, and here, hold up. Oh, just what? Oh. First of all, expect tabs and look them as well. The formatter did the correct thing. It's just that VS Code didn't catch up, interestingly. I do wonder, is there Rust indent? It's like, why is there no global setting for this? It's so goddamn. Maybe there is and I just haven't found it. Let's try to. Rust. Wait. Hold up. Now, I wanna figure out another thing. Save. Rust is supposed to format on save, like by itself. Trim and save. Huh. Well, whatever. Right, so is there like indent? Auto indent, indent size. It doesn't matter because I use tabs. Detect indentation, guides, wrapping indent. Indent. Tab. Pinned tab sizing. Wrap tabs, tab close button. Tab width, that's a specific thing. Tabs title. Use tabs. Tab size. Maybe like insert. Insert spaces. I doubt there's like going to be that, but maybe. Insert spaces. Well, if it's globally false, it's also false here already, and clearly it's not helping. Maybe like formatting options? No, really, like not at all. Maybe if I do it here, it will appear. Who knows? Jesus. Oh my god. Yes, this. Formatting options? No. I just like really mega wish that you set a global setting that please use tabs always until specified otherwise. That would be very helpful. Forcing you to always have a file is kinda annoying. There's like such huge rain right now outside, and that shit kinda slaps actually. Very much slaps. I love the rain when I'm not outside. All right. I do still want to do this myself. Even if I'm just like rewriting the same code, I do think that writing what? Ayo. Print. Can you like, bro? Language server, where are you? Print line, like, and shit. That's so mega strange. Can I like restart? Yeah. What do we print line? X says X. Here we go. Interesting that it took a reload for this to happen. Okay. I love how it automatically indents if you didn't leave a semicolon on. Makes you very quickly fix a silly mistake. X is, I don't know, 7. And obviously it already is telling us that actually it's immutable. Yeah, sure, let's actually look at the well, I know it doesn't compile, so I might as well just cargo check instead of building it too. And yeah, by the way, I know that I could just look this, but the output is hard to understand, or rather not to understand, to read. It's like all over the place, and this cool ass formatting doesn't really work in this format, which is why I'm not too huge on it. Eventually, once I recognize like most Rust error messages, I'll be able to see a part of it and immediately understand what it means. But so far, I want to just run catch. Cannot assign twice to immutable variable x. Consider making this binding mutable. Oh, binding, meaning binding to a value. Or do they mean declaration? Mute x. Print line loop. Cannot assign twice to immutable variable, and it specifically shows you where. That's like so cool. I also love how simple and easy it is to build and then build into release, and then the entire thing that ends up happening is just like in target you have debug and then release, and that's it. No like annoying paths. It's very straightforward and followable. God, love this so much. This is like so cute of them to say. It's like they're doing emotional support in a book about a programming language. That's so adorable. My HK project is a very good example of this. That it seems like that some things are being changed in a way that I don't recognize, where now bug tracking is just kinda not worth it. It's probably more personal than it is like real, and I could like find and solve the bugs that currently bug me about my HK project, but because of the unstrictness of the language, it's so much harder than it would have been. Yeah, I always forget to actually save for the thing to rerun. Well, let's catch. But it doesn't actually run it. Which, yeah, correct. Cool. That is cool. Okay. Which statement best describes what it means if a variable x is immutable? That's adorable. Okay, like you can change it, but only once. What does that mean? Oh wow. Like this, wow. What is the keyword used after let to indicate, oh. Oh, that's a hint. Wait. No, that's reporting a bug. I see. So, no, it does not, because this is immutable. Oh, right, after you answer them, it gives you context. Yeah, see, you should start with that. Mutable and immutable are weird fucking words that you don't really use in real life. Or at least I didn't. I only realized what those meant once I got into programming. They're very like non-understandable words. Not changeable is so much easier that everything just starting out, oh actually it's immutable. Fuck that means. Be clearer. You can make immutable variable, well yeah. It's like such a good idea. Wait. You can just inline run this code? That's so cool. I mean, so do I, but some people like run every bit of code all the time to check it out. And it makes it so much easier for them to do this. Like, true, like, I also like to run code to understand things better, but I wouldn't run this because, well, I can see what it's doing. Maybe it's laziness on my part, but I do know people that would appreciate this a lot. This is so cool. Copy the code, which is also very nice. Show hidden lines. Oh, I didn't know that. That's also very cool. Where I can show hidden lines, copy, and let's see my clipboard right now, and here I go. Huh. Can I, like, remove it? Okay, if I could edit here as well, it would be crazy. No need though, obviously. Yes, let's actually read this. This is interesting. Is this like... Oh, that's... Names, special, blah blah blah, type system patterns, attributes, items, macros. Wait, hold up. Is the book... Wait, what? So this entire thing can I... This is so clearly a scroll bar. Oh my god, thank you. Building a multi-threaded web server? I'm gonna do that? Holy shit. So we have this, and we also have this. What's the difference? Like, that's the book, and this is the Rust reference. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Sure, let's read this. Oh, and let's... Oh, I expected to. Okay, that's fair. I think this is going to be useful to some degree. Right, I wanted to read the docs on string and fish shell. Features. Okay, so Rust reference. But coming back to here, okay, so I want to learn which ones I can expect to work. What is drop? Destructors. When an initialized variable, what do you mean by initialized? A variable is initialized if it has been assigned a value and hasn't since been moved from. Other memory locations are assumed to be uninitialized. Interesting. So initializing and declaring has to be both in one step, unless you're using unsafe Rust. Okay. What is a temporary? When using a value expression in most place expression context, a temporary unnamed memory location is created and initialized to that value. The drop. Oh, right. Yeah. Things called drop. Forgot about that. We're gonna learn about that later in the book. The drop scope of the temporary is usually the end of the enclosing statement. Exactly. Except if promoted to a static. What do you mean promoted? Constant promotion happens all the fucking time. Honestly, kind of annoying. I see. So every variable has a destructor, so it's being dropped. Okay, that's for later. Yeah, this is going to be interesting to like look through later when I have read more of the book. That's cool. That's fucking cool. Learning C# doesn't feel as good. So literals, those I know what those are. Const parameters, what is that? Generic parameters. Oh, I see. So you can like do functions and generics as long as the parameters that you're passing to them are also constant. Interesting. If I understand this correctly. I don't see why that wouldn't be the case. It would be a bit disappointing. Just a bit though. Paths to functions and constants. Recursively defining constants is not allowed. That's, oh, I see. Paths to statics. These are only allowed within the initializer of a static. Tuple expressions. Interesting. Array expressions. Struct expressions. Block expressions. Including unsafe blocks. That's interesting. What the fuck is a binding? Like initialization? Assignment expressions, compound assignment expressions, expression statements. Basically, a lot. Some of the things that I don't know yet. Oh, generic parameters. Oh, so it specifically meant types by that. So by const parameters, it meant constant generic parameters. Good to know. Okay. Okay, my voice is tired, so I'm gonna leave a note. I left here last. Go to this, click, bloop, bloop, bloop. And then a whole fucking string of characters. This. I replaced the previous link with the new link. If you saw that, that would be funny. Yeah. And I'm ending stream. Oh, that's so interesting. Like, I end up just feeling the end of the stream once I more or less stream 3 hours. This has happened a few times already. It's interesting. Okay, goodbye. I hope you enjoyed the stream.